Have you ever felt overwhelmed by ideas, tasks, and deadlines, like you're in the middle of a mental storm? What if there was a simple tool that could turn that chaos into clarity, helping you organize your thoughts and boost your productivity in ways you never imagined? Mind mapping is that tool, and it may sound super simple, maybe too simple to be true, but hear me out. I've been using mind maps for over 15 years in academic and professional settings and have constantly been improving my mind mapping skills. Over all those years, I've probably made hundreds of mind maps myself and guided colleagues as well as led workshops or meetings where these skills were central. So let me tell you that mind mapping is not just another productivity hack or boring textbook technique. It's a real game changer for anyone looking to get more out of their brain power. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to my 5-step process to build the perfect mind map that I've developed over all those years. Building a mind map may sound super basic, but if done properly, it's actually not as easy as you might think. So let's dive in and understand how you can unlock the full potential of your mind with maps. Step number 1 is all about information. Not necessarily the information that eventually goes into your mind map, but rather information about how and why mind maps work. If you understand their underlying mechanics, you will understand some of the do's and don'ts later on, and it will be much easier for you to create outstanding mind maps. So mind mapping might seem like a modern concept, but it's actually rooted in ancient knowledge visualization techniques used by scholars and thinkers for centuries. The magic of mind maps lies in their simplicity and visual nature. Think of it as turning a complex book into a single readable page. But why do mind maps work so well? The answer is in how our brains operate. Our minds prefer patterns and connections over linear and isolated pieces of information. A mind map mimics the way our brains naturally work. We think in webs, not lines, making a mind map an incredible intuitive way to organize your thoughts. Here's a visual for you. Imagine your brain as a vast, bustling city. Thoughts, ideas, and tasks are like the countless cars moving along its streets. Without proper traffic signals and road maps, the city would descend into chaos. And mind maps introduce those signals and roads. They organize the traffic, allowing you to see where each thought is headed and how different ideas connect. By leveraging colors, images, and a structured radial layout, mind maps enhance creativity and recall, but still allow you to capture not just tasks and ideas, but also the relationship between them. This isn't just about making lists. It's about creating a dynamic space for your brain to explore every angle and connection of a thought. I really like mind maps for certain occasions because they provide a bird's eye view of the topic at hand, which makes it easier to organize, prioritize, and even identify gaps in your thinking. So let's break it down with an example. Suppose you're planning a digital marketing campaign. With a mind map, you can start with your main objective at the center and branch out to campaign elements like budgeting, audience targeting, content creation, and timelines. Each of these can then be broken down further to cover all aspects in detail, making the campaign's scope and connections visually clear and manageable. In essence, mind mapping isn't just about drawing lines and writing words. It's about thinking smarter, faster, and more creatively. It's about transforming the mental clutter into a structured diagram that empowers you to manage even the most complex ideas with ease. Before jumping into step 2 of my mind mapping framework, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter and grab your free copy of the Essential Guide to 3x Productivity. Let's be honest. Are you tired of feeling buried by your to-do list, constantly running out of time and never making real progress? If you're exhausted by the daily grind, wasting time and stressing out without seeing the expected results, then you need this guide. It's packed with proven strategies that actually work to triple your productivity by mastering 3 key areas. Building solid structures that keep your day organized and focused. Creating simple systems that make managing your time, tasks, and priorities effortless, and supercharging your workflow with Microsoft 365 tips that save you hours. So if you're ready to reclaim your time, reduce your mental load, and get more done every day, don't wait. Sign up for my newsletter via the link in the description, grab the free guide and start making real lasting progress today. Now that we know how mind maps work, it's time to prepare for step 2 of the process. Maybe you think no preparation is needed to get started with a simple mind map. Well, I don't believe so, but let me explain. At the beginning, you should choose your tools. Whether you're a digital native or a fan of pen and paper, the choice is yours. If you're going digital, there are fantastic tools like Xmind, Miro, or MindMeister that offer many great features for dynamic mind mapping alone or in teams. These apps allow you to quickly edit, reorganize, and even share your maps online. If you prefer pen and paper, alright, grab some colored pens and a large sheet of paper and that's it. But be aware that you cannot easily share or edit information. So if you ask me, I would always go for a digital tool, especially if you're working together with others. Another important and often overlooked thing to do before you start is to collect all the information you might want to include in the mind map. This could be details about a project at work, notes from a book, or even thoughts from a brainstorming session. Having everything at hand before you begin will make the process smoother and more comprehensive. Trust me, preparing for a mind mapping session in advance will save you a lot of time later on when creating the mind map, because you don't need to reshuffle all the information several times. Of course, that's not a must. There will be occasions where you will already have a lot of ideas and information collected before starting with the map. However, there will also be times when you start with a blank piece of paper and your mind map grows organically as your thinking evolves. Both directions are totally fine. Regardless if you're starting fresh or if you have already a rough or even solid idea where you are heading, you should choose a central idea to start with. This is your map's starting point, the sun in your solar system of thoughts. Write it down in the center of your workspace. Everything else will radiate from here. Remember, mind mapping is about freedom and flexibility. Don't worry about getting it perfect on your first try. It's a skill that gets better with practice. The more you use it, the more intuitive it will become. Having completed steps 1 and 2 of the mind mapping process, let's come to step 3, which is about conceptualization. With that, I mean coming up with a concept of your mind map, thinking about what you want to get out of the map and how you need to build it to get there. In fact, there are 3 different mind map styles that serve different purposes. As you get ready to create your mind map, it's crucial to select a style that aligns with your goals. Different styles can dramatically impact how you interact with the information and ultimately how useful the mind map is in achieving your objectives. Here are a few styles that you might want to consider and that I use most commonly. The hierarchical structure or classic mind map. It's ideal for breaking down broad topics into detailed subtopics. This style starts with a central node and has branches that represent different categories or sections, each with its own sub-branches. It's perfect for studying, project planning, or any scenario where understanding the relationship between main and subcategories is key. Then there's flowchart style. It's perfect when your tasks involves sequential steps or processes. This approach visualizes a pathway through tasks or decisions, showing a start point and various endpoints, which is ideal for planning workflows or decision-making processes. And then there's concept maps. This style focuses on linking concepts and ideas through connecting phrases and propositions, making it excellent for exploring complex relationships or integrating new knowledge with existing understanding. The difference between a classical mind map, which is hierarchically structured, and a concept map is that the former organizes information in a top-down approach from general to specific, while concept maps focus on illustrating the relationship and connections between various ideas without a fixed hierarchy. In any case, each style serves a different purpose and facilitates a unique way of thinking. Consider what you need from your mind map and choose a style that will best help you visualize and organize your information. As you might have seen so far, creating the perfect mind map is maybe not as straightforward as you might have thought. but with a few simple tips and tricks, you can master anything. So if you're looking for even more productivity methods and tips and tricks, I believe you will also love my brand new Productivity Booster Pack. This essential toolkit includes more than 100 flashcards, each packed with a unique productivity method in 5 crucial categories: personal effectiveness, personal growth and well-being, professional development, interpersonal skills, and strategic planning. So whether you're refining your personal habits, enhancing your professional skills, or planning your next big move, these cards provide actionable tips and techniques to help you thrive in every area of life. Ready to boost your productivity? Then click the link in the description to secure your pack today and take the first step towards a more organized and productive life. So let's do this together. In addition to choosing your style, you should think about layout. The layout of your mind map is more than just an aesthetic choice. It's about maximizing the efficiency and clarity of the information presented. So here are my top tips for planning your layout. Consider central placement. I recommend to start with placing your main idea or theme centrally. The central placement helps maintain balance and ensures that all branches are equally accessible as you expand your map. Then I like to balance branches. Just try to distribute branches evenly around the central idea. This not only helps in maintaining visual balance, but also ensures that no single part of the map becomes overcrowded, which can lead to confusion. And further, think about the use of space. Leave sufficient space between branches. This not only makes your mind map easier to read, but also leaves room for additional thoughts or sub-branches that might emerge as your ideas develop. Consider the future growth of your mind map and plan accordingly. Finally, always consider a logical flow. Arrange your branches so there's a logical flow of information, whether it's chronologically, importance based, or category based. Having a clear flow will help you guide your thinking process as you develop and use the map. If you just take a few minutes before starting with your mind map and decide on a suitable concept and remember those tips on layout, you'll be set perfectly to start jotting down your ideas. And since we know that practice makes perfect, let's dive right into it and uncover step 4 of the mind mapping process, which is the creation of your perfect mind map. To make it easier to follow, I have broken down the process of creating a perfect mind map into simple, actionable steps. I'll guide you through each step to build a clear and effective mind map while pointing out important do's and don'ts to maximize your productivity and creativity. What you should always remember is to start with clarity. So maybe you have already identified the central idea when collecting all your thoughts in preparation for the mind map. If not, think about the main idea, project, or topic you're focusing on. Place this at the center of your map. This is your foundation, the core of which everything else will flow. Write it down or type it out, make it bold and visible. This is the heart of your map. Ensure that this central idea is concise and precisely defined. A clear starting point sets the tone for the entire map. On the other hand, don't use vague or overly complex statements. This can confuse the purpose of your mind map right from the start. From your central idea, draw lines outwards to represent major themes or categories related to your main idea. These are your primary branches. Label each branch with a key theme or category that expands on your central idea. For instance, if your main idea is launching a new product, your branches might include marketing, sales channels, product development, and budget. Keep these branches organized and evenly spaced around the central idea to maintain balance and readability. But don't clutter your mind map with too many branches of the main idea. Too many can overwhelm and detract from the map's utility. Of course, when your ideation or project requires it, use as many branches as you need, but always remember to use as many as necessary, but as least as possible. Now, take each of your major branches and expand further. Draw smaller branches of the main ones to explore details and subtopics. This is where you drill down into specifics. Under marketing, for example, you might add branches for social media campaigns, email marketing, and public relations. In this step, use clear labeling for each subtopic to ensure that your map remains easy to navigate. But don't overload any single branch. If it becomes too dense, it's better to consider creating a subsidiary map for that specific element. This next step is about making your mind map not only informative, but also visually engaging. Use different colors for different themes or branches to help differentiate sections and make your map easier to navigate at a glance. You can add images or icons if your tool supports it. Visual cues can help enhance memory and understanding. When coloring your mind map to group similar ideas, thoughts, or topics, you might see that they also spread across different themes or subtopics. This might very well be the case, but no worries if your ideas or concepts mix and mingle. That's exactly what a mind map is there for, connecting the dots that may be overlooked in the topics are discussed separately. In any case, choose a color theme that groups related themes logically and enhances the map's readability. But don't go overboard with colors or images, as too much visual variety can lead to confusion and make the map difficult to follow. So as you can see, coloring or adding imagery or doodles is a balancing act. Always make sure you feel comfortable with it and add something that helps but does not hinder you. I like to stick to standard colors or imagery or icons when doing mind maps. So for example, I like to add a plus or plus plus to a branch I think is important, a question mark for where something still needs to be clarified, or similar icons or imagery. As your map grows and becomes denser, colored, and more visually appealing, you might notice connections between different sections that aren't directly linked by branches. In addition to having, for example, colored some seemingly unrelated subtopics already in the same color, now you can use lines and arrows to show these relationships. This helps you see how various parts of your project or idea interrelate, which can spark new insights and ideas. What's important is that you should highlight these connections clearly, using different styles of lines if necessary to indicate different types of relationships. On the contrary, don't force connections that do not add meaningful insights or clarity to the map. Every link should serve a purpose. Now let's dive deeper into refining your mind map, because creating is just the beginning. Your mind map, much like a living document, isn't meant to be static. It should evolve as your projects develop, as new information surfaces, and as your insights deepen. Imagine your mind map as a blueprint. Just as architects frequently revisit their blueprints to make adjustments as the building structure takes shape, you too should revisit your mind map from time to time. Whether it's due to fresh requirements from a new client or new insights from interviews or research, each update is a chance to refine your approach. So, contrary to the common belief that modifying a mind map undermines the initial effort, consider each change an upgrade, an opportunity to enhance and positively evolve your original creation. Here's what I suggest. Once you have a solid first draft of your mind map, take a step back. Look at it as a whole. Ask yourself if it makes sense. Check the flow of ideas. Are there gaps that need filling? This overview is crucial. It helps you see not just the details, but also the connections and the big picture. Most importantly, it uncovers anything that you might have missed in the midst of creating the mind map in the previous step. In short, here are 7 simple steps you need to take in order to refine your mind map to get even more out of it. And no worries, if you don't feel like doing some of them, just don't, and take away what works best for you and your workflow. First, your mind map is not just a one-off effort to brainstorm something, but an important project resource. So schedule periodic reviews of your mind map, weekly, monthly, or at key project milestones. This regular checkup ensures it remains up to date with your current needs and insights. So schedule periodic reviews of your mind map, weekly, monthly, or at key project milestones. This regular checkup ensures it remains up to date with your current needs and insights. Second, during each review, evaluate the flow and logic of your map. Ask yourself, does it still make sense? Is there a smoother way to represent these ideas? Are there emerging gaps or redundancies? Third, Add new information or insights as they arise. This might include adding new branches or keywords, incorporating recent data, or adjusting timelines. As a fourth step, remove outdated or no longer relevant information. This keeps the map clean and focused, preventing clutter that can obscure your main objectives. Next, rearrange sections or branches to better align with your evolving understanding or priorities. This might involve moving pieces of the map around to highlight more pressing issues or to better reflect the project's structure. Number 6 is to update colors, symbols, or images to maintain or improve visual appeal and effectiveness. Visual updates can also reflect changes in priority or status within the project. And finally, step number 7 is, if possible, to share your map with peers or collaborators to get fresh perspectives. Use their feedback to make further refinements. Mind mapping is a super flexible tool. Ideal if you're a visual learner who thrives on images, diagrams, and colors to grasp and remember information. But remember, integrating written notes to flesh out the details of your mind map is just as crucial. Whether you're using Microsoft Word, Notion, OneNote, Evernote, or Obsidian, text enriches the visual elements by adding necessary depth. So are you ready to elevate your note-taking skills? Then don't miss this video where I share the best practices, strategies, and tips to do so. Click here to watch it now and continue refining your productivity toolkit to work smarter.